Hey everyone, thanks for joining me again. Today's topic is one that feels heavy, emotional, and deeply tied to Japan's identity, past, present, and future. A question more people, both inside and outside Japan, are asking, is Japan slowly disappearing? It sounds dramatic. It sounds like a headline meant to provoke fear. But the truth is more complicated. Japan isn't collapsing. It isn't dying. But it is changing, quietly, gradually, and perhaps permanently. To understand what's happening, we need to start with a simple fact. Japan's birth rate has been declining for more than 40 years. Fewer people are getting married. Even fewer are having children. Some don't want marriage at all. Some want it but can't reach it. Some still dream of family but don't know how to make it work in the reality they live in. The government calls it a demographic crisis. Economists call it unsustainable. Sociologists call it a cultural shift. Some young people call it freedom. So how did Japan arrive at this moment? For many years, marriage in Japan wasn't a choice. It was the expected and socially safest life path. Life had a script. Study hard, get a job, get married, have children, raise them well, work until retirement, live quietly, pass on the cycle. But today, the script is breaking. Part of the reason is economic. Japan's wages have barely risen in decades. Work-life balance is one of the worst in the developed world. Student loan debt follows younger generations into adulthood. Housing is expensive. Childcare is limited. And many women feel they must choose between career and motherhood, because doing both is still difficult in practice. People outside Japan sometimes say, why don't young people just have kids? But many young Japanese quietly respond, how can I raise a child when I can barely take care of myself? Then there's the emotional layer. Something harder to measure but impossible to ignore. Many people saw their parents exhausted. Some saw marriages where affection faded into duty. Some saw families where communication was rare. Many grew up believing parenting meant sacrifice, stress, and constant pressure. So some ask themselves, do I want to repeat that life? Others feel uncertain because relationships themselves have changed. Dating is no longer automatic. Marriage is no longer expected. Love is no longer the center of adulthood. It is simply one possible path. Some find connection through dating apps. Some build careers and live independently. Some prioritize friendships, pets, hobbies, or personal growth. And for the first time in Japanese history, a large number of people are saying, my life can be complete even without marriage or children. So, what is the government doing? There are policies, subsidies for childbirth, tax benefits, free IVF programs, support for childcare, campaigns encouraging marriage, attempts to reform work culture. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You can't solve this by money alone. You can pay someone to give birth, but you can't force them to want the life that follows. Because at the center of this issue is something much deeper, a shift in values. Older generations believed survival and stability came from family structure. Younger generations believe survival and stability come from autonomy, and that shift creates tension, not conflict, but quiet distance, between tradition and modern identity. But here's where the conversation turns forward. If Japan is changing, what will the future look like? Some predict a shrinking population, aging communities, closed schools, and empty countryside. And yes, that is already happening. Some towns have more pets than children. Some schools close permanently. Some villages are entirely elderly, no young families left. Some areas will disappear from the map. But that's one future. There are others. Japan could embrace a world where smaller families are normal, but support systems are stronger, where technology, AI, automation, robotics helps maintain society with fewer workers, where flexible family structures emerge, single parents by choice, co-parenting without marriage, platonic partnerships, shared households, intentional non-romantic families. Or maybe relationships evolve, not disappearing, but transforming. Love may shift from obligation to intention. Children may become a choice based on desire, not rule. Marriage may become something redefined, lighter, adaptable, less tied to sacrifice, and more tied to mutual support. Japan could also move toward immigration, gradually, carefully, reshaping identity as many countries have done. But whether Japan chooses innovation, immigration, cultural transformation, or a combination of all three, one truth will remain. People still want connection, even if they express it differently. Some want romantic love. Some want companionship. Some want freedom. Some want children. Some want to live alone. Some want a life that doesn't exist yet because the world hasn't built it. So maybe the question isn't, is Japan disappearing? Maybe the real questions are, what kind of Japan will exist next? What kind of relationships will define the next generation? What does family mean when society finally allows every person to choose their version of happiness? Japan is not fading. Japan is transforming, quietly, slowly, deliberately. And perhaps, in that transformation, there is a lesson for the rest of the world. When tradition and modern life collide, the future does not end. It rewrites itself. Thanks for listening. If you found this conversation meaningful and want more deep dives into culture, identity, and the future of society, feel free to subscribe. Until next time, take care. And whatever your path looks like, whether family, solitude, partnership, or something entirely different, I hope it leads you to a life that feels truly yours.